Quinn and Cantera.
It's Quinn and Cantera, Picks 106, 1-800-LAW-1010, 1-800-LAW-1010.com. Paul Harding from Martin Harding Mazzotti.
Paul is here to answer the age-old question that's been kicking around the studio for weeks now. Paul, what is up with Bumpies, bro? We're talking about Bumpies.
Age-old.
Bumpies Polar Freeze. A judge Friday granted Schenectady County's request to temporarily close down Bumpies Polar Freeze. But this is a long and winding story, right?
Yeah, they're getting a lot of press. Not necessarily the press you're looking for, but lots of free press. So they've had this, just sort of a controversial beginning. There are text messages that came out allegedly from someone who works at the store or possibly owns a store saying, we don't hire black people. Well, that resulted in some protests there. We now find out that there have been these health violations that may have been predated that and certainly post this event. And so they've been trying to get in and saying, hey, we want to look at what you've done. The owner's saying you're not allowed in, and it looks like they're going to shut this place down.
Will he? What if he doesn't? What if they don't actually close the doors? What happens next?
Well, sort of what's happening now. So you can be cited for two ways. Once you've got a sheriff that can come in and physically shut you down, once that you've proved to the court, by the health department has proved to the court enough that there's public health problem. And then secondly, the owner, if he just kind of says, hey, we understand that, we're going to stay open, there's a thing called contempt of court. Those are charges, criminal charges. So you just start going down a bad path.
I read that he skipped out on his arraignment and everything. This guy's being a real problem, huh?
Yes, it seems like, as I said, that he is definitely defying these rules from the health department. Maybe he's feeling targeted. Maybe he's feeling that he has something that he wants to say. But unfortunately, when the confines of public health, he's going to have to comply with the rules.
So you think if not, if there was no protest and there was no controversy, do you think you just would have kept being business as usual?
Well, the health department, they struggle with that. They come in, they cite you, and then you're supposed to. Then you come in, they say, no, you've got it done, or you almost got it done, because they want to keep businesses running. So here, I do think there's more of a spotlight on it, clearly. And then we also have an owner who seems to be openly defiant.
Right.
Again, he may have his reasons, but the combination is combustible. So, yeah, we're seeing this more than you would see it if it was just another site at where they've come in and said, hey, you got to fix that sprayer. Then they come back.
Did they take his pellet gun away? Did they take the owner's pellet gun away? Bumpy's ice cream owner's pellet gun? He was threatening people with a pellet gun.
That was about a month ago.
Yeah. Again, it just began that long path for him where he has been arrested twice, I believe, at least one time.
Would expect out of an ice cream shop.
It seems to me, Paul, you keep saying long path. Like, I bet your advice would probably be to comply at some point, right?
It would be to absolutely comply, fix the issues, and then try to, get the rest of the season. Number one, I'm sure traffic's down a little bit at Bumpy's anyway for the controversy that is all over the media. And then secondly, the season is ending, right? Ice cream season isn't in October, so yeah.
Solid advice as always, Paul.
Look, a guy's probably got a family of 10 kids or something. He's got to feed. I get it. I understand.
This story's been going on all summer long. It's just a microcosm for the world we're living in right now.
It is. That's a great way to put it. Yeah, anywhere you look, you find the stories like this. Paul, thank you, my friend.
Okay, guys. Talk soon.
There he goes. Paul Harding from Martin Harding Mazzotti, 1-800-LAW-1010, 1-800-LAW-1010.com.